What's up, everybody? Andrew here, Disconnected Gamers, bringing you the formal review, or I should say the more formal review of the PDP Afterglow Prismatic Controller for the Xbox One and PC. Now, it's been a little bit since I did my unboxing, and I've put I put some time in. Am I going to say like I put 100 hours in? I'd say probably somewhere between 30 and 60 hours on this controller. And, you know, I have to say it's actually really nice. Like, just, you know, it's hard to really kind of improve on the design of the current Xbox One controller, which I think is better than the PlayStation 4 controller. I've said it before. It feels more comfortable in your hand, and the PDP Afterglow basically is the same shape. The only difference really being that it's clear plastic. You know, and it has the toggle switches that you can see right here on the back, which is kind of one of the things that is what sets this controller out from other Xbox controllers out there. Now, so I'll run you guys through the stuff, and actually, if I turn my Xbox on, you guys can see how it lights up. So this is the little fiber optic cable basically that runs throughout the controller, illuminates it. It looks really nice. And so we've got, as you can see, you know, general Xbox One controller setup. And I apologize for the light. I'm not 100% sure how clear this will come out. I tried to get the camera to be in focus. The shoulder buttons and the triggers feel really nice, very smooth. You know, you definitely know you're using it when you are. The sticks are nice. Let's see if I can get that to focus or not. It was like kind of in focus, but then it wasn't. Either way, so what's really cool about this controller, and I'll kind of walk you guys through the features, is, and I don't know if you can really tell on the thumbsticks, but they've got little indicators on them, you know, for game chat and volume. So if you plug in a headset into this, you can then use this little button here. It's hard to tell, but that's actually a button. So now when you double tap it, it'll mute. So if you have a headset plugged in, it'll mute it. And if you hold the button down and then you hit up or down on the D-pad, it'll raise the volume or adjust between chat volume and game volume. If you were in Halo and you wanted to have more chat volume coming out than game volume, you can do the balancing right here. There's no additional like dock connector like Polk has, for example, on their Striker ZX, maybe, I think is the model that has it. And some of the other Turtle Beaches and other controllers with headsets, at least. You know, this one you can use your own headset. You can use the PlayStation earbud. You can use an iPhone earbud. Or, you know, just plug a pair of headphones in for game volume. You don't even need it for chat. And then there is an app, which I have some footage that you may or may not be seeing at this point in time, to control the settings for the controller. You can customize it all right from your Xbox with the Xbox Prismatic app, basically. But the little button on the back actually sets it. So you push it once, and now all of a sudden I can change the color as I see fit. And then this one changes the intensity. So if you want it to be full intense, no intensity, you want it to be really dim, you can just control it right from wherever you want. So just push the button on the back, and if you push it twice, it'll allow you to remap buttons. So I can hit, what I did was I flicked this up, so now it's telling me, okay, we know you want to reconfigure that, so you press B, and then boom. So now when I hit up on this wheel right here, it's hard to tell. So there you go. So you hit up on that wheel. Now it's mapped to B. Now, in addition to the wheel can go up or down, and you can actually push them as well, which is really, really nice because, and this is going to be hard to show you because But you're like, for me, my middle finger actually, yeah, this is really hard to show. My middle fingers actually basically rest right where it is. That's a better way to show it. So like, you're playing a game and then it's like, oh, I'll just hit up to reload or down to jump, or, you know, I'll push it to see the score of the game, and I never have to take my thumb off the stick, which is part of the reason why SCUFs and the Xbox One Elite are so fantastic, because they give you that option in the form of the paddles. The difference is if I'm like, oh crap, and I grip my controller, I'm less likely to accidentally mash a bunch of paddles. So again, keep that in mind when you are looking at these other controllers, because I think for the money, the Afterglow is such a great controller. You know, the only downside that many people might have is that it is wired. This is not plugged in just because I want to keep it charged. It doesn't have wireless abilities. It is a wired-only controller. And for me, I love it. I would much rather have it wired and not have to deal with charging batteries or interference, which, I mean, yeah, it's 2016. When's the last time anyone's controllers had interference? But it's just not something I want to deal with. If you're a competitive player, this is great for you, because many of the tournaments that you might be going to require you to have a wired controller. And this fits the bill, because the second I unplug it, my controller's disconnected, and it will not work without this cable. What's nice about it is that the controller does disconnect so that you can have it set up sideways. Have it set up sideways. What am I talking about? You can, you know, have it unplugged and wrap the cable up for traveling, so that it's not just bent sideways, I think is what I was getting at, when you wrap the controller up. But you know, overall, it's super comfortable. You know, because it's the same shape and size of the original Xbox One controller. If you like the feel of that controller, you'll love the feel of this. The clear plastic material that it's made out of is, you know, it's a very smooth finish. So I suppose if you are a gamer whose hands get really sweaty, maybe you might not particularly like that. I don't find the texture to be a problem. I really think that the Xbox One original texture of their controllers, like the kind of like matte black satin finish, is awesome. I think the super smooth glossy PlayStation 4 style is not as comfortable for long periods of gaming, but I don't have as many issues with the PDP controller when I'm playing Halo or what have you. And because it works on Xbox One via USB, it actually works on PC. I used it for Steam for a ton of games, and because you can program the buttons with the controller itself, you don't even need to worry about whether or not your remapped buttons will work on whatever games you have. You know, you saw how quickly I did it. You tap this button twice, you hit the thing to set it to blank, you change it, and then boom, it's remapped. You can remap the controls to your favorite Steam games in 2 seconds. So if you were going to start using this for maybe a slight advantage in terms of being able to aim, reload, whatever, that will be super advantageous to you. If you think it's kind of gimmicky, then, you know, it's an alternative Xbox controller at a great price point that has colors and it's translucent. You know, in addition to just the exterior lighting, there is lighting that will light up when the vibration controls activate, and you can also adjust via the Xbox One app how sensitive the rumble is on the controllers. So if you want the left rumble to be really, really light, or you want the right rumble to be really, really light, you can do that. You can adjust it all as you see fit. So with that, you know, my personal opinion is I think it's a great controller. I really do. I think that while I was initially skeptical of the paddles, you know, and in this case they're basically like click wheels, but I always kind of thought that it was gimmicky, right? The paddles, you know, yeah, pro players use them, but like, does it really change the game? And then, you know, when you're playing matches of Halo hours on end, all of a sudden you realize how much time it takes for you to move your thumb to reload versus being able to keep your thumb on the stick and always have control of where your shots are going. And Did all of a sudden I start, crushing leaderboards as I was playing? No, absolutely not. I'm a garbage tier player, but I noticed that I was playing better. I had a slightly better score consistently after playing with this for a few hours. So I think that while the initial jump to get used to training your fingers not to move training your thumb not to move off the stick to hit X and just using your middle finger or your index finger to hit those little click wheels is certainly something that you'll need to work on, but I think overall the controller itself provides you with an opportunity to change the way you game. So, the translucent controller is really nice. It's cool to look at. Having the on controller volume controls, I think, is probably one of the best features. Being able to mute the mic right off the little button on the corner is awesome. I think that makes, being in if you're in an apartment with other people, someone comes into the room and says, hey, you got a minute? It's like you can just tap that, and then you don't have to reach up for your the mute button on your headset, or if it's an inline adapter or something like that, you can just mute it right off the controller, and that's a really nice touch. So this review of the PDP Afterglow Prismatic Xbox One controller is now complete, and I think for the money you really can't compare. I mean, if you really prefer the paddles, obviously that's fine, but I think if you can get your hands on an Afterglow and you give it some time, you'll really enjoy it. So with that, I give it 2 thumbs up. I think it's worth the money. I think it's actually, if you're just trying to, even if you just want to add a new controller to your collection, right? It's about $50-$60 depending on where you look for it. In a regular Xbox One controller, depending on what you're, if you grab it off eBay or whatever, you can get it for like $40. But why not just spend the money and get the Xbox One PDP Afterglow? And then you've got this controller that's a little bit cooler, but it's it's wired. So obviously, if there's a distance to your console, it's a 10-foot cable, but you can make it work. So with that, I'll leave it to you guys in the comments. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I will answer them to the best of my ability. Again, I say 2 thumbs up on the PDP Afterglow Prismatic Controller. For what it is and what it offers a gamer, I think it's definitely a solid contender. So I will catch you guys all in the next video. Appreciate you watching. Have a good one.